I tried to open the bedroom door. It was locked. From inside, my fiancé said, "Wait." A man's voice added, "Almost." I didn't wait. I pushed the door and kicked it hard enough to splinter the frame. The scene before me would have been comical if it weren't destroying my life. Fiona sat on our bed, hastily pulling a sheet around herself, while Caldwell Bishop, her boss, my former drinking buddy, the man who'd given a toast at our engagement party, hopped on one foot trying to get his pants on. "Owen!" Fiona's voice pitched high with panic. "This isn't what it looks like." "Really?" I said, my voice surprisingly calm. "Because it looks like you're screwing your boss in our bed while I'm supposed to be at work." Caldwell finally got his pants up and had the audacity to straighten his tie. "Look, Rourke, we can discuss this like adults." "Adults?" I laughed, and even I could hear the edge in it. "Adults don't lock bedroom doors to hide their affairs, Caldwell." The thing is, I'd suspected for weeks. The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the way Fiona suddenly became interested in networking events I wasn't invited to. I'm an IT systems architect. Paranoia and backup plans are literally my job description. 4 weeks ago, I'd installed cloud-synced security cameras throughout our apartment. Everything was recorded, uploaded automatically to 3 different servers. "Get out," I said quietly. "Both of you." Caldwell stepped forward, and I saw the exact moment he decided to play the power card. His shoulders squared, his chin lifted. "Now hold on, Owen. You're upset, I understand that, but let's think about this rationally. You work in tech, right? Good field, lots of opportunities. Wouldn't want to do anything that might limit those opportunities." The threat hung in the air like smoke from a house fire. I pulled out my phone, opened the security app, and turned the screen toward them. The video was crystal clear. Caldwell's BMW in our parking spot, the two of them entering together, laughing. The audio was even better. "You installed cameras?" Fiona's voice cracked. "I install backup systems for everything that matters to me," I said. "Or used to matter." Caldwell's face went white. "You can't what? Document criminal trespass in my own home? Record evidence of adultery that voids our prenup?" I looked at Fiona. "Oh yes, sweetie, I read the fine print. Infidelity means you get nothing." The notification sound from my phone made them both jump. Cloud upload complete. "Here's what's going to happen," I continued, surprised by how steady my voice remained. "Caldwell, you're going to walk out of here and never come back. Fiona, you have until tomorrow morning to pack your things and leave." "Owen, please," Fiona started, but I held up my hand. "The recording is already uploaded to secure servers. What happens next depends entirely on how reasonable you both want to be." Caldwell grabbed his shirt and jacket. "This isn't over, Rourke." "You're right," I said. "It's not." After they left, I sat in my living room and opened my laptop. The cameras had captured everything, not just today, but weeks of evidence. Text messages automatically backed up from Fiona's phone when she connected to our Wi-Fi. Email fragments from when she used my computer. A digital trail of betrayal that would make a forensic accountant weep with joy. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother Nate. "Still coming to the bar tonight?" I typed back, "Definitely. I have some stories to tell." But first, I had some emails to send. The next morning, I sat in my kitchen drinking coffee and watching my phone buzz with increasingly frantic calls from Caldwell. I didn't answer. Instead, I opened my laptop and reviewed my handiwork from the night before. Email 1. Sent to Mona Bishop, Caldwell's wife of 15 years, with a selection of the most damning photos and audio files. The timestamp showed she'd opened it at 6:47 a.m. Email 2. Sent to the ethics board at Morrison Associates, where both Caldwell and Fiona worked. A comprehensive package detailing their affair, including evidence of quid pro quo promises regarding Fiona's promotion. Email 3. Sent to Harold Morrison himself, the founding partner. He was old school, built the firm on reputation and integrity. He wouldn't take kindly to his senior partners creating liability issues. My phone rang again. This time, it was Fiona. "You bastard," she hissed when I answered. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I've documented the truth," I said. "How's the job hunt going?" "They suspended me pending investigation. Caldwell, too. You've ruined everything." "No, sweetheart. You ruined everything. I just provided the evidence. We can fix this, Owen. We can work through this. It was a mistake." I hung up and blocked her number. 20 minutes later, my doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Caldwell looking like he'd slept in his car, which, given that his wife had probably changed the locks, he might have. I opened the door, but kept the chain latched. "What do you want?" "We need to talk." "No, we don't." "Look, I know you're angry, but think about this logically. You send this stuff around, it hurts everyone. Fiona's career, my family, the firm's reputation. Nobody wins." "I'm winning," I said. "I'm winning by not being married to a cheater and not being friends with a backstabbing piece of garbage." His face reddened. "You self-righteous prick. You think you're so smart with your cameras and your evidence? You have no idea what you're dealing with. Enlighten me. I've got connections. People who can make your life very difficult. That little tech job of yours, one phone call and you're unemployable." I smiled and held up my phone, recording. "Please continue. I love it when people threaten me on camera." He lunged forward, but the chain held. "You think this is funny?" "I think it's hilarious. Yesterday you were screwing my fiancée. Today you're unemployed and getting divorced. Tomorrow you'll probably be looking for a new career. The comedy writes itself." I closed the door and went back to my coffee. My laptop chimed with new emails. The first was from Harold Morrison's assistant, scheduling a meeting to discuss recent developments. The second was from an attorney representing Mona Bishop, requesting copies of all evidence related to her husband's extramarital affairs. The third was from Fiona's sister Jessica, who'd never liked me anyway. "I hope you're happy destroying people's lives." I typed back, "I didn't destroy anything. I just turned on the lights." By the end of the week, the gossip network had gone nuclear. Fiona and I had shared the same social circle for 3 years. Couples from work, neighbors, friends from college. I'd assumed the betrayal would split them down the middle, with some taking her side and others taking mine. I was wrong. It was a massacre. The first defection came from Sarah and Mike Chen, who lived in our building. Sarah cornered me by the mailboxes Tuesday morning. "Owen, I am so sorry," she said. "I had no idea Fiona was... we all knew she was ambitious, but this... You knew?" Sarah's face went red. Not new. But there were rumors. The way she talked about Caldwell, how she was always working late with him specifically. Jennifer from 4B said she saw them at that wine bar on 5th Street, and it looked pretty cozy. Why didn't anyone tell me? What were we supposed to say? "Hey, Owen, we think your fiancé might be cheating based on some sketchy behavior and office gossip?" We hoped we were wrong. The second defection was more brutal. Tom and Jennifer Walsh had been our closest couple friends. We did dinner parties, weekend trips, game nights. I'd been Tom's best man 2 years ago. Tom called Wednesday evening. "Hey man, Jennifer and I want you to know we're here for you, whatever you need." "Thanks. That means a lot. We never liked Caldwell anyway. Guy always struck me as slimy, and honestly, Fiona's been acting weird for months. Jennifer said her whole personality changed after she got that promotion track." "What do you mean?" "She got, I don't know, calculating? Like she was always working an angle. Remember that dinner party last month? She spent the whole night pumping Jennifer for information about her job connections, asking about openings at other firms. It felt like she was networking us." The third defection came from an unexpected source, Fiona's own friend circle. I ran into Lisa Martinez at the grocery store Thursday night. Lisa had been Fiona's college roommate and maid of honor at our engagement party. "Owen!" She looked genuinely distressed. "I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. Thanks, Lisa. I know this puts you in an awkward position. No, it doesn't. Her voice was firm. What she did was inexcusable. And the way she's been talking about it, making herself the victim, it's disgusting. That stopped me cold. She's been talking about it? Oh, honey, she's been calling everyone, trying to get people on her side, saying you were controlling, that you invaded her privacy with those cameras, that you're trying to destroy her career out of spite. And people are buying that? Lisa snorted. Are you kidding? She cheated on you with her married boss in your own bed. There's no spinning that into your fault. But the real nuclear moment came Friday afternoon. I was at my brother Nate's bar, having a beer and trying to decompress, when my phone started buzzing with notifications. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all going crazy. What the hell? I muttered, opening Facebook. Someone had posted in our neighborhood group a screenshot of text messages between Fiona and someone named Greta from her office. The messages were devastating. Caldwell says if I play this right, I could make partner in 2 years instead of 5. What about Owen? What about him? He's sweet, but he's not going anywhere. Ike guys are a dime a dozen. Caldwell has real power. Are you going to leave him? Eventually. But not until I'm established. I need the stability for now. You're terrible, Lowell. I'm practical. Owen worships me. He'll never suspect anything. The post had been shared 43 times in 2 hours. Nate looked over my shoulder. Jesus Christ, who posted this? I scrolled up to see the original poster, Marcus Webb, Caldwell's former assistant. In the comments, Marcus had written, "Found these on the office printer. Thought people should know what kind of person they're dealing with." My phone rang. Fiona, calling from a number I didn't recognize. "You bastard!" she screamed when I answered. "You put Marcus up to this. I have no idea what you're talking about. Those text messages. You hacked my phone." "Fiona, I'm looking at Facebook right now. Marcus posted screenshots of something you printed at work. That's not hacking. That's stupidity." "I never printed those." "Then maybe Greta did. Or maybe you left them on the printer and someone found them. Either way, this isn't my fault." "Everything was fine until you decided to be vindictive," I laughed. "Everything was fine? You were cheating on me and planning to dump me once you got your promotion. How exactly was that fine?" She hung up. Nate slid another beer across the bar. "So, how does it feel to be the good guy for once?" "Weird," I admitted. "I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." "What other shoe? You caught them, you documented it, you exposed it. Case closed." But I had a feeling it wasn't that simple. Caldwell hadn't struck me as the type to go down quietly, and Fiona was nothing if not persistent. They'd try something else. I just had to be ready for it. I should have known they wouldn't give up. Monday morning, I got a call from my boss, Janet Stevens. "Owen, I need to see you in my office, now." Janet was usually pretty laid back, but her voice had that tone that meant someone was about to have a very bad day. I hoped it wasn't me. Her office was on the 15th floor, with a view of the city that usually made me feel optimistic about life. Today, it just made me feel small. "Sit down," Janet said. She had a folder on her desk and was wearing her serious face. "I got an interesting call this morning from Harold Morrison at Morrison Associates." My stomach dropped. "Oh?" "He says you've been harassing his employees. Specifically that you've been stalking and threatening Fiona Reeves and Caldwell Bishop." "That's not true." "He says you installed surveillance equipment to spy on Ms. Reeves without her consent, and that you've been distributing intimate recordings of her in an attempt to destroy her career." I felt my face get hot. "Janet, that's not what happened." "Then tell me what did happen." So I did. I told her about coming home early, about the locked door, about finding them together. I told her about the cameras I'd installed in my own apartment, about the evidence of their affair, about the threats Caldwell had made against my career. Janet listened without interrupting. When I finished, She leaned back in her chair. Do you have proof of any of this? I pulled out my phone and showed her the videos, the audio recordings, the text message backups. Everything. Janet watched in silence, her expression unreadable. Finally, she looked up. Jesus, Owen, this is a mess. I know, but I didn't start it. No, but you sure as hell escalated it. She closed the folder. Morrison is threatening to file harassment charges against you. He says his client, Caldwell, is prepared to go to the police. Let him. I've got evidence of adultery, trespassing, and criminal threats. Plus, Caldwell threatened my job. That's witness intimidation. Janet rubbed her temples. This is exactly the kind of drama we don't need. You know that, right? I'm not the one who created the drama. But you're the one sitting in my office because of it. She sighed. Look, I believe you. The evidence is pretty clear, but this whole situation is toxic. Morrison Associates does a lot of business with us. If they decide to make trouble... Are you firing me? No, but I'm strongly suggesting you find a way to make this go away. Quietly. I left Janet's office feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. Caldwell and Fiona weren't just trying to save their own skins, they were actively trying to destroy mine. That afternoon, I got a text from an unknown number. Coffee. We need to talk. Mona Bishop, Caldwell's soon-to-be ex-wife. We met at a Starbucks downtown, far from both our neighborhoods. Mona was exactly what you'd expect from a corporate wife. Perfectly dressed, perfectly made up, perfectly controlled. But her eyes were hard as diamonds. Thank you for the evidence, she said without preamble. My attorney says it's exactly what we need for the divorce. You're welcome. Caldwell is trying to claim the affair was a recent lapse in judgment. Your recordings prove it's been going on for months. She sipped her latte. He's also claiming you're some kind of stalker who's been harassing him and his colleague. That's ridiculous. I know. But he's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things. She leaned forward. He's planning something. I don't know what, but he's been making phone calls, meeting with people. He thinks he can spin this whole thing as you being the villain. Any idea what he's planning? Something about your job. He keeps talking about how he's going to destroy your reputation and make sure you never work in this city again. She smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant expression. He always was a vindictive little man. Why are you telling me this? Because I want him to lose. I want him to lose everything. His job, his money, his reputation, his freedom, if possible. And right now, you're the best chance I have of making that happen. She stood to leave, then paused. Oh, and Owen? Whatever you're planning to do to him, make it count. You probably won't get a second chance. That evening, I sat in my apartment going through all the evidence I'd collected. The videos, the audio recordings, the text messages, the emails. There was enough here to destroy both Caldwell and Fiona completely. But they were trying to destroy me first. I needed to move fast, and I needed to move decisively. I opened my laptop and started typing. The email went out at exactly 9 a.m. Tuesday morning, sent simultaneously to 47 recipients, every partner at Morrison Associates, the entire ethics board, 3 local business journalists, and the leadership teams at 6 competing firms in the city. The subject line was simple. Evidence of professional misconduct, Caldwell Bishop and Fiona Reeves. The body was even simpler. Dear recipients, attached, you will find documented evidence of an ongoing extramarital affair between Caldwell Bishop, senior partner, and Fiona Reeves, associate, including video and audio recordings of intimate encounters in my residence, text message evidence of quid pro quo arrangements regarding Ms. Reeves's promotion, documentation of Mr. Bishop's threats against my employment, financial records showing company resources used for personal meetings. This evidence is being provided in the interest of professional transparency and ethical accountability. Respectfully, Owen Rourke. I sent it and then turned off my phone. Whatever happened next, I wanted to let it happen without my interference. I didn't have to wait long. By noon, my landline was ringing constantly. By 2 p.m., there was a news van parked outside my building. By 4 p.m., my phone had 37 missed calls and over 100 text messages. I finally turned it back on and called Nate. "Holy shit, brother," he said when he answered. "You made the news." "What?" "Channel 7. Corporate scandal rocks prestigious law firm. They're talking about affairs, ethics violations, the whole thing. They're not using names, but everyone knows who they're talking about." I turned on the TV and found the story. A perfectly coiffed reporter was standing outside Morrison Associates, talking about allegations of serious professional misconduct and an ongoing investigation into ethical violations. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You're going to pay for this. See." I screenshot the text and forwarded it to Mona Bishop with a note, "More evidence for your attorney." Wednesday morning brought a knock on my door. Through the peephole, I saw a woman in a business suit holding a briefcase. "Mr. Rourke? I'm Patricia Gonzalez from Morrison Associates. We need to discuss your recent communications." I opened the door but didn't invite her in. "What about them?" "Mr. Morrison would like to offer you a settlement, a substantial one, in exchange for your agreement to cease all further communications regarding this matter." "How substantial?" $50,000, cash, and a signed letter of recommendation for your professional services. I pretended to consider it. "And in exchange?" "You sign a non-disclosure agreement. You stop talking to reporters. You delete all the evidence and provide written confirmation that it's been destroyed." "What about Caldwell and Fiona?" "Their employment status is an internal matter." I smiled. "No deal." Her professional composure cracked slightly. "Mr. Rourke, I don't think you understand the situation. This offer is very generous considering the legal jeopardy you're in." "What legal jeopardy?" "Invasion of privacy, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Mr. Morrison has very good attorneys." "So do I lied. "And I have evidence of adultery, trespassing, witness intimidation, and professional misconduct. Plus, everything I recorded happened in my own home. There's no expectation of privacy when you're committing adultery in someone else's bed." She left without another word. Thursday brought the news I'd been waiting for. A text from Mona. "It's official. Caldwell's been terminated, Fiona too, both for cause no severance." That afternoon, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. When I answered, it was Fiona, and she was crying. "Owen, please, you have to help me." "Help you what?" "I can't find a job. Nobody will hire me. Every interview I go on, they already know about the scandal. My career is over." "You should have thought about that before you decided to screw your boss." "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Isn't that enough?" "No," I said, "it's not. What do you want from me? What will it take for you to leave me alone?" "I want you to disappear. I want you to move to another city, change your name, and never contact me again. I want you to understand that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences last forever." She hung up, sobbing. Friday afternoon, I was at Nate's bar celebrating with a beer when Tom Walsh walked in. He looked around, spotted me, and walked over. "Owen," he said, "we need to talk." "Sure, what's up?" Tom sat down heavily. "Jennifer and I have been talking, and we think maybe you went too far." I set down my beer. "Excuse me? Look, what Fiona did was wrong. Nobody's arguing that. But destroying her entire career, making her unemployable, that seems excessive." "Excessive?" "She's a human being, Owen. She made a mistake." "She didn't make a mistake, Tom. She made a choice, multiple choices, over months, and one of those choices was to plan on dumping me once she got her promotion." "But did you have to destroy her life?" I looked at my former best friend and realized I was seeing him clearly for the first time. "Yes," I said. "I did." Tom shook his head. "I don't know who you are anymore. I'm the same person I always was. The only difference is now I fight back." Tom left without ordering a drink. Nate came over and refilled my beer. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm great." And for the first time in months, I actually meant it. 3 months later, I was sitting in my new apartment across town when my doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Caldwell Bishop. But he looked nothing like the confident corporate shark who used to intimidate people for a living. His hair was unkempt, his clothes wrinkled, and he had the desperate look of a man who'd lost everything. I opened the door but kept the chain latched. "What do you want, Caldwell?" "I want to talk." "We have nothing to talk about." "Please." His voice cracked. "Just 5 minutes." Against my better judgment, I let him in. He looked around my new place, smaller than the apartment I'd shared with Fiona, but clean and modern and entirely mine. "Nice place," he said. "Thanks. What do you want?" He sat down heavily on my couch. "I want you to know that you won, okay? You destroyed everything. My marriage, my career, my reputation. Mona took the house, the cars, the investments. I'm living in a studio apartment and working at a car dealership. I didn't destroy anything. I just documented what you did. You could have handled it privately. You could have just ended things with Fiona and moved on. Like you handled your marriage privately? Like you handled your professional ethics privately?" I shook my head. "You made this public the moment you decided to screw my fiancée and then threaten my career. I was angry. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking clearly enough to plan it for months. Both of you." Caldwell buried his face in his hands. "She's gone, you know. Fiona. She moved to Portland last week. Changed her name back to her maiden name. Got a job as a paralegal. You destroyed her too." "Good." He looked up at me with something like shock. "How can you be so cold?" "You want to know how?" I stood up. "Because 3 months ago, I came home early from work and found you in my bed with my fiancée. Because instead of apologizing, you threatened to destroy my career. Because when I provided evidence of your misconduct, you tried to have me arrested for harassment. Because even now, sitting in my living room, you're still trying to make this my fault instead of taking responsibility for your own choices." "I loved her," he said quietly. "No, you didn't. You used her. Just like she used me and you both used your positions at the firm. The only difference is I was smart enough to document it." Caldwell stood up slowly. "I hope you're happy." "I am. I got a promotion at work, I've got a great apartment, and I never have to wonder if the person I'm with is betraying me behind my back. So, yeah, I'm very happy." After he left, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my balcony, looking out at the city lights. My phone buzzed with a text from Nate. "Drinks tomorrow?" I texted back, "Absolutely." Then I deleted Caldwell's number from my contacts, along with Fiona's and all her friends who'd tried to make me feel guilty for defending myself. I deleted Tom and Jennifer Walsh too, and Sarah and Mike Chen, and everyone else who'd decided that holding people accountable for their actions was somehow worse than the actions themselves. My contact list was a lot shorter now, but it was also a lot more honest. The next morning, I got an email from Harold Morrison himself. "Mr. Rourke, I want to personally apologize for the way this matter was handled initially. Upon further investigation, it's clear that you acted appropriately in documenting and reporting serious ethical violations within our firm. Mr. Bishop and Ms. Reeves have been permanently terminated, and we have implemented new policies to prevent similar situations in the future. If you ever decide to change careers, we would be honored to discuss opportunities within our organization. Respectfully, Harold Morrison." I forwarded the email to Janet Stevens with a note. "Thought you'd want to see this." She called me 10 minutes later. "Owen, this is incredible. Morrison Associates wants to hire you?" "Apparently." "Are you interested?" "Not even a little bit. I like where I am." "Good, because I just got approval for that senior architect position we discussed. It's yours if you want it." I wanted it. That evening, I was at Nate's bar celebrating my promotion when a woman at the other end of the bar caught my eye. She was pretty, professional-looking, reading a book while sipping wine. When she noticed me looking, she smiled. I walked over. "Good book?" "It's about a guy who discovers his whole life is a lie and has to rebuild from scratch," she said. Very relatable. "I'm Owen," I said. "Rebecca. And before you ask, I'm recently divorced, completely single, and I have zero interest in dating anyone I work with." I laughed. "That's a refreshing change." "Bad experience?" "You could say that." We talked for 2 hours. She was a marketing director at a nonprofit, had been married to a guy who turned out to be embezzling from his company, and had gone through her own very public scandal 2 years earlier. "The thing about having your life implode in public," she said, "is that you learn who your real friends are, and you learn that sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is losing everything you thought you wanted." "Couldn't agree more," I said. When the bar closed, I walked her to her car. "Would you like to have dinner sometime? Somewhere that's not a bar?" "I'd like that very much." As I watched her drive away, I realized that Caldwell had been wrong about one thing. I hadn't destroyed everything. I'd just cleared away the wreckage so I could build something better. 6 months later, Rebecca and I were engaged, not because she needed me or I needed her, but because we chose each other with full knowledge of who we really were. The wedding was small, just family, and the friends who'd stuck around when things got ugly. Nate was my best man. In his speech, he said, "My brother learned something important this year. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. Sometimes it's just living well." He was right, but I'd learned something else, too. Sometimes people need to face consequences for their actions. Sometimes the only way to stop being a victim is to make sure the people who hurt you can't hurt anyone else. Fiona never contacted me again. Caldwell sent one more text about 6 months after our final conversation. "I heard you got married. I hope she's worth it." I deleted the message without responding, because she was worth it, and so was I.